Hey guys, thanks for listening to the Spiritual Grind. We hope you enjoy it, and don't forget to follow, hit the little bell for your notifications when the podcast is posted, and like, follow, and share with your friends. We hope you enjoy it. Leave a comment if there's any topics that you want us to speak about.
Like, follow, share.
Thank you very much, Dr. Jenny. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the Spiritual Grind.
Good morning.
I changed the intro just a little bit right there today. Do you see that? It's signifying a new beginning.
Oh. Okay.
No, really, I just messed up because I got distracted.
So I guess we'll change it up.
Yeah, it's okay.
Howdy, y'all.
Yeah, I would have changed it for one thing. Well, we're back, and thank you for listening again and tuning back in. We should be getting back on track this week. I think I've healed pretty well. It went pretty good. I'm not going to talk about my healing issues for everybody because we're actually going to have a fun podcast this morning.
Okay.
You know what we're going to talk about today?
What? Playing skip-bo?
I don't know. What is this with this card thing you're lately? You're wanting to go buy cards and stuff. You've never in my life ever wanted to go play cards anywhere. It's kind of crazy. I don't know what's going on. Are you getting old?
Wow, for you to correlate playing cards with getting old.
Yeah, that was funny. That was funny.
I am getting wiser.
Wiser? Bud. Wise.
And not as in bud.
Oh, that's the wrong wise.
Wrong wise.
Wrong wise.
You spin me wrong wise, baby,
wrong
wrong
wise. Well, thank you all for listening and being patient with us, by the way, as we've been a little bit delayed, and we do appreciate you all tuning in. Hey, you know what we got today?
Out of pocket for a minute.
We got the invite to the 2026 Podfest convention from Buzzsprout.
Mm.
They asked us if we would like to attend the Buzzsprout. They offered free tickets to it.
Why?
Because we're podcasters and we use Buzzsprout. I mean, they're trying to bring their people in, and they know that we haven't monetized the podcast, and so that's why I would assume, because we've been paying them for. So they give us 2 years. Free
tickets because they know we're fucking broke and can't pay for the ticket. Is that
no,
what you're
I don't
insinuating?
think that's it. No, I think it's about they're trying to get all the Buzzsprout group together.
Look at these poor fools. They've been doing this for 2 years and they've yet to make a dime on it. Let's give them poor fools some free tickets. Bless their little pea-picking hearts.
Now they sent the email this morning. I thought I'd share that with you on the podcast.
Where's it cool. at?
It's in Orlando.
Oh, so it's close.
Yeah, January 15th through the 18th.
Oh.
And
what do you do?
It's just a convention for podcasters. I don't know what I just started looking at it a little bit before I got in the shower.
Interesting.
But it was definitely different.
It probably has like vendors with equipment and stuff like that.
Yeah, and it's also for users. I mean, for followers, people that have followers, they come to see their podcasters in person, and so there's like.
Oh, so are they want us to like set up a table?
I don't know. I sent an email to find out what their expectations were.
Okay.
I don't know. They're offering free tickets, so.
Huh.
But they do say the one requirement is if they pay for the tickets is we get together with the Buzzsprout group.
Yeah. And do what?
I don't know. There's like a 4-hour thing that they want us to do with all the Buzzsprout people. I assume it's probably some kind of a big picture or something they take with all the podcasters, or I don't know. It may be kind of cool, a good way to network
for 4 hours.
Well, the whole thing is 3 days. It's the 15th, 16th, 4 days. 15th, 16th, 17th, and it ends at 3 on the 18th.
Okay.
So I don't know, but it may be a good time to. I don't know. We'll see. I'll see what their expectations are.
I see.
But Maybe we could
dress up like carrots.
Carrots? What does carrots have to do with anything?
Carrot sandwich.
Oh, carrot
Going
sandwich.
down the rabbit hole.
Oh, yeah. I
How
get it.
soon we forget.
Yeah, that's a good one. I like it. And the funny, because today my topic of study time this morning, it brought up, my little brain game thing. It said the word of the day was collaborative.
Collaborative.
Yes, was the word of the day that I'm supposed to learn.
Do you say that differently with the enunciation on different part of the word?
Collaborative?
Yeah.
Collaborative. There's different ways of saying it, yeah, but it has 3 different pronunciations on it.
Okay. I recognize
collaborative
it now.
Or collaborative.
Okay.
That's different ways, but
I just didn't recognize the word.
But what I thought was really cool about it was it kind of fall into place with my studies this morning. And my studies this morning is how we collaborate with our spiritual world and our human world. Like, for example, we daily, is it too loud?
No.
Daily, we live in a spiritual world and a human world at the same time. And so what happens to it, like, for example, I was also reading this morning or watching a video this morning on one of the metaphysical teachers that I watch every now and then. And she said, do you know when you have a traumatic event and when you relive that traumatic event to try to remove the belief systems or the trauma behind it, that during that moment in time, you're actually reliving yourself, taking your reality back to the time when that happened.
Right.
So if you had a traumatic event at 25, when you go to relive that reality, you are taking yourself back to being 25 and reliving the moment and the human. That is where the collaborative rabbit hole comes into place for me today.
Okay.
Is understanding that when we do have that traumatic event and we go back to it, the collaborative event within it, we do relive the same age. But here's the cool part about it, is when you live that collaborative moment and you clear that, can you stay that age? Dum, dum, dum. One of these buttons is the one I want to hear. Nope, not that one. Yeah, that's it.
That's the one you want?
No, not really. But anyway.
I don't think you have a button programmed for that.
I don't. But it is I don't know. It's one of those.
Okay, so your question
Got a question.
The rabbit hole arena is when you are reliving in an event and you go back to that time and space of that event.
Yes.
Can you stay that
age in this reality? How cool would that be?
I mean, you're the one creating your reality. You can be any age you want in your reality.
Yeah.
It's your holographic reality.
Yeah. Because like for example, one event that popped in my head this morning for me is when I did have that car accident when I was 14. And when I was 14, there was a traumatic event for me. And it kind of changed my viewpoint of life at that age. And I kind of quit taking life as a 14-year-old and started taking it as trying to be an adult and turning in my entire life into how much money I could make and all that stuff. I don't know why, because I know that ultimately that accident cost a lot of money for me to get healthy again. And so I think I took it upon myself to change my reality into trying to completely become an adult at 14. So I was thinking this morning when I was working at that traumatic event, I was looking at it, can I not stay that childlike, look or vision of myself then?
You mean you want to look like you're 14?
No, I want to have the same personality when I was 14 before the accident. That, I was just very free thought. I was, I thought I could take on the world. I could defeat anything. I was funny. I was very outgoing, social. And I want to recreate that in my life again. And that way it kind of trumps all the other traumatic events. You go back to the very first one you can think of. And then does it trump you? Does it take you where you don't have to change your personality again over and over and over again? Can you just go back to that fun-loving heart that I was at 14?
Of course you can. It's a state of mind.
Okay.
It's not a state of being.
Agreed.
It's a state of mind, and you can put your mind in that state of perception at any point that you choose to put your state of mind in that place.
But where is your thought process in this? Like you seem like you're not engaged in this conversation with me for a moment. Did I lose you?
Aren't you funny?
Or I'm not giving you enough information to be able to collaborate upon it with me.
No, I'm fine.
Okay.
I get what you're saying.
Okay. And so please do tell, how do we stay in that childlike thought?
It's a practiced habit. It's a choice.
Okay.
It's a every day finding the frequency of that place that you want to be in and practicing that and not getting wrapped up in the human loop of trauma, drama about every little topic, or being hyper vigilant, or being hyper focused on any one thing. It's about finding the frequency that you enjoy, that feels good,
Okay.
and doing whatever techniques, steps, whatever things that you need to do to stay in that frequency of that place. So essentially what you're looking for is the way that situation made you feel.
Okay.
Right?
Agreed. Yep.
You're going back and you're remembering a time and place, not because the things that necessarily that you were doing, but because of the way that you felt, or you remember feeling in that time of your life.
Prior to the traumatic event.
Right.
Okay.
That's what you said.
Right. Agreed.
It was a fun time. You have memories of having fun and just free spirited and just living life. What one would say, like willy nilly, no worries, no concerns.
Yeah.
That just freedom of fun loving life.
Yeah.
That's a frequency. That's a way of feeling, and that's what you're looking for. It's not that you're looking to be 14 again. It's
right.
not that you're looking for the mental mindset of how you looked or thought as a 14-year-old, or even the things that you did as a 14-year-old. I mean, because if that was the case, then you could very easily go buy you a $40 bike from Walmart, get on it, and go ride the town. And then, boom, you would be right back in that place. You can certainly try that. You do things to get you back to the frequency of it.
Okay.
And if that is one of the ways to get back to it, is to go to Walmart, buy you a huffy bike, hop on the bitch, and go ride about town to try and recreate the feeling.
And knock on all your neighbors' doors and all that stuff.
That created, then try it.
Take your telescoping fishing pole and go wading into the lake.
Exactly.
And go fishing. Yeah.
I mean, buy a fishing pole and go wade in the lake that's right here in front of you. If you are trying to look for techniques that recreate that feeling.
And so asking the Dr. Jenny part of this, is there a way to recreate that frequency and that energy without having to go through all the traumatic events?
Of course.
How do you do that?
I mean, there's different ways. I gave you one. Go
live it.
Go live it. Go physically, on purpose, intentionally. Try different things that help you find the frequency that you're seeking.
Okay.
Like I said, go buy a bicycle. Go buy those roller skates and put on some knee pads and some music and roller skate. Go play skip-bo. Try different things, and the minute that you find that, you'll know when you find it, because you'll know how it feels.
Yeah.
And then you ride that wave until it doesn't feel that way, and then you look for the next thing. That's what I mean whenever I say go find your joy. Go find those little snippets of joy, whatever they are, because the minute you can find the frequency of doing what brings you joy, time stops.
Agreed.
And it doesn't stop. It actually moves very quickly. And when you're moving through time that quickly,
but you don't
then
age,
you're
right?
not aging.
Right. Okay.
Right? That's the rabbit hole place of that.
Right.
When the day just flies by and you don't even realize that you've been sitting there doing what you're doing for like fucking 12 hours, then you're not using up time.
Right.
So you actually are not aging. That's what happens when the astronauts, go and they're not necessarily riding the time wave. So essentially what you're talking about is, it's not that you're wanting to go back and be the 14-year-old person. It's that you're wanting to find the energy frequency of what it felt like to be that free-spirited, carefree lifestyle that you had at that age, where you just hop on your bike and you ride across town or go fishing with your buddies or whatever, and just being able to be free to do that.
So with that frequency that we find and get in tuned with back prior to traumatic events, how do you, as a human, get through the emotional roller coaster of the events, but still energetically align with the frequency behind the feeling you're looking for?
You mean after you've had the traumatic event or the trauma drama?
Yes.
Well, I mean, the first thing I would recommend is being aware of whether or not you've experienced a traumatic event. You acknowledge that you had one. You let the emotions and the feelings come through from having that, and then let the healing
begin.
Not just begin, but be done.
Be done. Okay.
All of this time, space that it requires because you're healing or trying to heal will determine how long you take to heal from something. When you get ready, well, when you're programming your mind to say, I'm healing or I'm trying to get better, you're delaying it and keeping it somewhat in the future to where it never is completely done and I'm healed.
Yeah, okay.
Because the reality and the rabbit hole of it is that you are healed today, because today you're a different human being than you were yesterday. You're choosing to bring that drama with you from yesterday's person. You wake up every morning. When you wake up in a different timeline.
Agreed.
And when you wake up in that new timeline, you choose what baggage you're going to bring with you to continue to carry around in the new timeline. What beliefs, what programs, what patterns, what dirty diapers, what shit, whatever, And if you choose to stay in a trauma drama lifestyle and stay in a trauma loop or a medical loop by continuing to tell your medical symptoms or your medical story, because your stories are your identity, and you've decided that I got to tell this story about having this car accident as a 14-year-old over and over and over because that's part of my identity, then you'll retell it and you'll relive it and you'll take yourself back every single time, and that can keep you somewhat stuck in the trauma loop of that, instead of it actually having an opportunity to heal, and you forget about it and you move on and it's never even a thought in your head. That's why you say to me, do you remember when this and this happened? And I say, no, I don't fucking remember that.
Yeah.
Because
we
I've
as humans have a tendency
experienced
of,
it, I've lived it, I've filed it into the Akashic Record Universal Library, and I move on because those stories, those events, those traumas, they don't live inside of my mental warehouse. They don't get to occupy space unless I'm actively working on a traumatic situation for myself. You have to give them a new warehouse to live in. Otherwise, it does trip you up and you stay in that trauma loop of reliving that.
yeah.
And so what I would tell my clients is stop telling the story. Stop identifying it as your identity. It's not your identity. It's just something that you went through.
Yeah.
And you learned from it. You experienced what you were supposed to experience. Now, I mean, pack that bag up and hand it off to the universe and move the fuck on. Like, like
You make it sound very easy to do.
Like your neck injury. It can just be that easy if you're willing to let go of stuff. And if you're willing to do the homework, it can be a 1 or 2 day kind of scenario. It doesn't have to be a lifelong drag it out that way. You got to be willing to let shit go though, man.
But is there any value to clearing those stories prior to actually dropping them off at the Akashic Records?
Say it in a different way.
So, like, for example, you have a traumatic event and you tell the story, and then before you drop it off to the Akashic Records, you have now retold the story again. Is there any part to retelling that story again? Is there anything that's beneficial in it?
Is there any part of your shit that's beneficial before you drop it off in the commode?
Yeah.
What?
My shit, it smells like roses.
I mean, are you shitting gold coins or what?
Sometimes.
I mean, no, it's a literal metaphor. Like, if there was still benefit to be had by it, then you would know that it's still needs to be utilized. And the beautiful thing that people forget is that you can access the Akashic Records anytime you need to. So if there is benefit, if you come along a journey and you're supposed to work with this individual as their healer, and you need to pull on that story to have a relatable situation with this person because it's beneficial to tell your story to them, which most of the time people, when they're in their own trauma drama, they don't fucking want to hear your story. Then you can always pull that back forward and you can utilize bits and pieces of it. But like I said, most of the time, if somebody comes to you wanting a session or coaching, they don't really care to hear your story. They don't care. They want to feel better themselves. They want their story to hold the limelight. They want to be the attention whore. They need to be the one in the light, and they don't care about hearing other people's drama stories. It was kind of like right after your stroke, that guy walked by and he wanted to talk about the bruise on his ankle. And we were like, okay, well, I just had 2 strokes and a bleed. Wow. Cry me a fucking river, right?
Right.
Or the guy that came up in the parking lot wanting to talk about his kidney stone, and you said, listen, dude, I just had 2 strokes and a bleed. I don't really need your shit right now. Because you were having kind of a tired, frustrated day.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of how that feels when you're working with clients, or when clients come and they want to get over their own drama.
Yeah.
So, no, is there a benefit on hanging on to that and utilizing it somewhere down the road? On an average traditional basis, no. It was your personal experience. It was for your growth and your evolution. And so, no, very rarely does it come back into play. If you're using it to tell your story over and over again, then it's something that you're using as validation, justification. You're utilizing it for some purpose that benefits you, not your client, not the person you're talking to. And so, no, from my perspective, it is not useful. It's no more useful than the shit that you put in the commode whenever you take a shit. You don't need it anymore.
No, I think there's a lot of times that when, like, for example, for me, when I relive traumatic events in my mind, I will sometimes share those stories, and you're right. I need to turn that back to where I quit doing that, and let the traumatic events go away. Which I think I've done a pretty good job of that, of most of my traumatic events in my life. But the one part in it that is hard for me to understand when to share and when not to share is when do you share a traumatic event as a purposeful story and not take ownership of it? Again, how do you do that?
Well, why would you think that it would be a purposeful story?
Well, you just never know. You never know when somebody's going to need that information, or are you supposed to share those? I mean, because that's part of the human experience is we relate with others. We find relatable experiences or relatable stories. And like for example.
But are you relating with that individual because you tell them some drama story that you have?
Or are you using it for educational purposes or whatever?
I mean, would it be more beneficial to tell like a light-hearted story or a fun story instead of some story about death or dying or injury?
I totally agree. I totally
whatever?
agree. I think that sometimes you start with traumatic events and then you turn that relatable experience into a positive outcome. And I think part of that journey as a human is to expose that story and turn it into something positive. Well, and then that's a way to changing your traumatic event.
Well, then you'll know when to share the story.
I agree.
If you have to ask the question, should I tell this story or should I not, then it's not time to tell the story.
Well, that's not what I'm saying. I think you and I have had this conversation quite a few times in our life. And what I'm saying is, like, for other people, how do they identify when to share and when not to share? And how do they not take ownership of that same traumatic event in their life again? How do people learn when to do that, when not to do that?
Well, it's practice. It's a habit. When you get to a point where you can tell the story and it doesn't create an emotion within you, then you know that you've healed from that and that you can use it in the positive way of mentorship that you're talking about.
Right. No, I agree.
You're wanting to talk about how does one know that they can share the story of having gone through this trauma to help other people realize they're not alone, or that this is how I got through it. You might try these techniques. When you can talk about it and it doesn't create that emotional trigger, that emotional response within you, and you can just talk about it neutrally, then you know that you're not living in that trauma loop.
Okay.
Or when you get hyper-focused on it and that's all you can talk about, then you know that there still is some healing going on and a habit going on that you want to stay attuned to make sure you don't get locked up in the trauma loop of the experience itself, and that you're actually healing and letting go of it.
Yeah, I think that's a snag for a lot of humans, a lot of people.
It becomes a habit.
It does. It can very easily become a habit. Like me, I'm an investigative kind of guy. Mm-hmm. And like with me, when I have trauma or stuff that happens in my life, I try to investigate it. And not even my stuff. I'll be looking at other people's stuff and trying to investigate their stuff. And I have to be real careful of not getting caught up in that loop of taking ownership of those things that I don't need to take ownership of.
I mean, yeah, especially in your story, you had someone who lived that kind of life.
Oh yeah,
and still does
all of my life. Yeah,
and so whenever you're trained to see that this is what life looks like, then you adapt that habit as this is what normal life looks like, and so very easily you can get snatched back up into the minding everyone else's business or getting looped up in the trauma drama of the world around you if you're not consciously aware of it happening because you lived as a child in that life. That was what your life looked like.
No, I totally agree with you. And there's been parts of my life.
And it still goes on.
It does. I still try to, but I have turned it away most of the time, all the rest of my life. But what I do know that what I did back in the past is I took ownership of somebody else's beliefs. And then I took that into my reality and come to find out down the road that it was false. It wasn't even true. But so I went through my life identifying these different things in my life and taking ownership of these bad beliefs and these bad stories. And so and there's always been, what I learned is there's always a part of that where I get to a point where I'm like, you know what, I am done with this. And it's like, and I'll shut it down. And that's just what I do. But I have a tendency of not releasing the trauma. I'll just shut it down and quit talking about it. And I have to quit doing that as well.
How do you know you're not releasing the trauma? What does that feel like? Or how do you know?
Still feels like it's unfinished business. When you say, like, I'm done with this, I'm not talking about this no more. And you've seen me do it. I just shut it down. I just don't want nothing to do with any of it. And the reality is I'm not handling that properly. And so I have to release it before I shut it down.
So what I'm asking is, what happens to make you aware that you didn't handle it properly and it's coming back around? Like,
it just feels unfinished.
So you just go around feeling unfinished about it and you just ignore it?
Kind of, yeah.
And then it pops back up or what?
Yes. And it's a bad habit. I know a lot of people that do that in their life. And they'll just ignore the stuff instead of acknowledging it, taking ownership, whatever they're supposed to take it, and then releasing it. We will just, instead of, facing the problem and handling it and learning from it, we just put it into the dark abyss hole in the back of our mind and until it pops back up later because we're not handling it properly. And that's something I did for many years. I did that for many, many years.
I think one of the other things that people get confused with is people are afraid to not remember.
Yes.
Because the memory topic itself has been given such this weird entangled thing of, if you can't remember every single freaking thing, then oh my God, you got memory issues.
Okay.
Like, it's okay to empty your memory warehouse out and not remember shit. Like, it's okay, especially if you've dealt with it, you've experienced it, and you've moved on.
Agreed.
Like, your brain is not ever supposed to be it was not meant to be a memory warehouse, for goddamn sake. It was not supposed to be like this big giant place where you shove every little fucking memory in there and hang on to it for the rest of your life. It wasn't meant to be that.
Yeah.
And so when people are afraid to forget something or afraid not to have the memory, then they'll hang on to every little morsel and every little tidbit. When you get to a place where you're fine not remembering it because you know that it lives in the Akashic records, and when you know that you can pull that back out of the Akashic records if you ever need to revisit it, or that your guides, your higher self, your source, your God, whatever, will give you the information when you need to know it or if you need to know it, then there is no aspect of I forgot or I can't remember that.
Yeah.
And if you walk around saying I forgot all the time or I can't remember that, you're literally programming your mind to not remember shit and to forget shit.
Agreed. I agree.
So you won't pull shit forward.
And I think that is the loop that you just really defined all of it for most humans is they teach themselves like they have a traumatic event. We go back, we look at it, we teach ourselves, and then we repeat it and own it, and then we turn around and teach ourselves to keep repeating it. And that's where I was getting at in this podcast today is it's so easy to get caught up in the human trap of constantly reliving any traumatic event in your life.
Yeah.
And then you take ownership of it, and then you end up reliving the freaking traumatic event somewhere down the road because you have not released it.
Right.
And understand or learn from it what you need to learn, be happy about it, and release it instead of just throwing it in the back of the abyss until it re-pops its head back up.
Yeah. Until it gets so big that it's going to be louder and louder.
Right,
and louder.
and bigger because you're ignoring it. And that's where I have been over the last couple of days after my traumatic event is this same progress. Is I'm allowing to understand what happened. I'm giving myself the power to say, you know what? I'm not going to let that be there anymore. And I'm going to continue to get my human out of the way of it because my human will get in the way. I'm the biggest guilty human in the world that will continuously relive things when you don't need to.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of where I wanted to talk about the podcast today because I know there's a lot of people that relive these things constantly and they don't understand why they're doing what they do, and they just keep reliving it, or they'll just throw it in the back of the abyss until it pops back up. And that's what I'm hoping that people to learn today is it's okay to own what happened.
Yeah.
It's okay to be part of what happened.
It's not just okay, it's imperative as part of the healing.
I agree. You have
acknowledge
to own it.
that it happened.
Right.
And then the healing can begin.
Right.
But also it's okay once the healing has completed. It's okay to not remember it.
Yeah.
It's okay to let it go.
Right.
And it doesn't have to live in your head.
I agree.
Like how many times in our life do you say, "Oh, do you remember that?" And I'll be like, "No, I don't remember that."
You clear out the memory banks all the time. You will wipe that card every time.
Yeah, and if you don't think you're doing it, I'll give you this exercise.
To me? Or are you talking
Just
to somebody
in
else?
general.
Oh, okay.
Go back and make a list. Get your little sweet journals out. You know, I am the journaler. Get your little sweet journals out. Make a list of all of the traumatic events that have happened in your life. Mm-hmm. Write them down.
Yeah.
Then in the other column, go back and write down all of the beautiful, wonderful, happy moments that happened.
Right.
And which list is longer?
Oh, yeah. And then people don't identify the happy. That's the problem.
Right. Because it's not uncomfortable.
That's right.
It's comfortable.
And so they have a hard time remembering all the unhappy.
So practice remembering the happy times.
Right.
And that way they can help heal the uncomfortable times.
You know, I've had many people in my life over the course of the years ask about my time behind the bars and wanting to tell me about all the stuff that happened.
Candy bars.
And I literally, the 99% of what happened, I do not remember. Because there's one time that I remember that is the most important part of it. And that's the day I walked out the freaking doors.
Yeah.
And I remember, I can tell you word verbatim what happened that moment in time. Mm-hmm. And still to this day, it still drives me. And that is a very important part of my life in my normal day is I let go of the traumatic event and I walked out. Mm-hmm. And it felt so good to do that. And you have to do the same thing with any traumatic event. Mm-hmm. You know, instead of you can actually verbatim in your mind create a vision of what happened and then walk away from it.
Yeah.
And then just let it back there.
Right.
But anyway.
And if you're one who chooses to drag it out and to draw it out, you said I'd make it sound so easy. You know, put yourself back in the scenario, put yourself back in the circumstance, put yourself back in the situation as best you can, either mentally or physically, and change one aspect.
Right. Yeah, I like it.
Turn a lamp on, turn the TV show to something different. Create the scenario that brings up the anxiety, or what we call is it's a rub up against or a bump up against placed. Recreate the reality if you can, and then change something in your environment. Yeah. Or if you're using visualization, recreate the visualization almost in like a lucid dream kind of way, and change out a piece of furniture or change out something. What that will actually do is it'll do two things. One, it'll change the scene in your mind. 2, it lets you reprogram your physical symptoms and your physical system of the fight or flight. When those components get bundled together, it won't be a trigger anymore because you've changed some component of it. Like your body looks for patterns, your mind, your eyes looks for patterns in your reality.
Mm-hmm.
And if you've had a traumatic event, it's going through there looking for the red flags, looking for the similarities. And when it starts to find 2 or 3 or 4 of the similarities, then it goes into that fight or flight place, and it starts to release the different chemicals, the adrenaline, the cortisol, blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll give you an example with your event. I have a wee bit, because it's been only a short amount of time, I have a wee bit of a little bit of a trauma in the evening, dusk, sitting on the couch, watching a TV show, because that's where our event started.
Right. Agreed.
But in watching a different kind of TV show, I have now changed the scenario just a little bit to where I can sit there peacefully on the couch at that same time of day, watching a different kind of show with you that reprograms that whole system and allows healing, so that I no longer say to myself, oh my God, panic, red alert.
Right. Yeah. You're hitting all the parameters.
Yeah.
So,
be on red alert because it was this time of day watching this show with him sitting in this same spot, the lights at the same dimness that created this yucky, uncomfortable event in the first place.
Yeah.
So in that situation, I just changed the show on the TV, or I leave the lights
change a
on.
parameter. Just change any parameter.
Any 1 or 2 parameters, and then do that for a while. It'll bring you out of that trigger response.
Agreed. I feel pretty good.
Yeah.
How do you feel? You feel complete?
Yeah, I think it was a good topic.
I think it was a good one, and I hope everybody learned something from it. But hey, here's a quick update. lucidiumworld.com. It is amazing. Wait till y'all see it. It's going to be so cool. And go to the website, lucidiumworld.com, sign up for a subscriber, and it won't be long that you'll be able to buy the early bird special to have it for a year at a very discounted rate.
Yeah. Also, if you are a practitioner of, a life coach, an astrology reader,
A tarot reader.
life path reader, you do tarot cards for people.
Any
virtually,
metaphysical practitioner.
anything you do virtually,
You could
Reiki,
be a teacher, right?
you
Anything.
can, whatever. We've got that open as well. You can go to lucidium.com.
Right.
You can sign up to be a practitioner and go through the review process.
Correct.
Because inside the app is the community hall,
Yep.
where you can actually take clients inside there
That's correct.
and have a whole marketing and access to the global.
The users can reach the practitioners, and the practitioners can reach the users.
That's right.
And it's all done through the app.
Yeah.
And it's all done basically. I mean, if you're a practitioner, it could be free. Now
Right.
it's going to be different levels of commission through that because we still have to pay for the platform.
Yeah.
But it'll be all discounted rates for everybody.
Right.
And the users get discounted. If they're the subscriber, they're going to get a discount to work with the practitioner. And the practitioner, if they work with us, they're going to get a discount to work with other practitioners. And they get to expand their client base.
Yeah. Now, the practitioner part of it is not free.
Right. Well, there is a level of it that's free.
There's a level that is free, but it does cost a little bit because we have to do the setup and the service and all of that.
Yeah, it's called onboarding.
But you can read that on lucidiumworld.com.
Well, it's not on there yet. It will be on this next week. Where I'm working with the coders now for the job form. Form. So when they sign up, which they have the back end set up now, and so now we have to link the website to the back end. It's minutes. And then we're working on it already. And so we are literally within a day or two of being able to take up early bird users and early bird practitioners.
Yeah, and there's also a store that'll be available,
Arcane and Co.
Arcane and Company.
Yep.
And so if you are a healer through a product that you've created and you want to bring your store over, bring your product over, there's going to be a place for that type of healing as well.
Correct. We'll be able to actually
Merck
link
Centers,
Shopify stores to it.
Is a foundation that houses every single modality that we can possibly think of so that we can be available all in one location for people around the world.
Yep.
So they don't have to spend their days following breadcrumbs and trying to find the information and find the knowledge like you and I had to do back in the day.
Yeah.
I wanted it to be a one-stop shop where every single thing we can think of to cram into this one location is available for
It's a
people
complete
to
ecosystem.
try.
Correct.
To
Gamified ecosystem.
create what their daily regimen looks like today.
Right. Totally
And if it
agree.
looks something different tomorrow, then you've got the tools and the access to be able to change it tomorrow.
Yeah.
Without
Totally.
having to constantly go looking for that. So if you've got educational videos and you're looking for a place to put them, you've got products that you're looking for a place to sell them,
Right.
or services, Lucidium World is going to be that place for you. And
Yes.
not only that, but we've gamified it and
Yeah,
made
totally.
it really fun to learn.
Agreed.
So
And that's what a lot of people don't understand is how the internet works. And yeah, you may have, have you ever heard of overnight sensations and people go viral overnight with videos and those kind of things? That does happen, but it's very rare.
yeah,
Because most of the time, your stuff stays in your region.
right,
It stays within unless you have friends from all over the world
yeah,
or people that see a comedian that just because they're, thumbing through their feed, then they will not ever go viral or not ever have the following that they want. Because now that in an app that it's not controlled by a region, it's going to be international. And so you can go for literally overnight from having 100,000 subscribers or 100,000 followers to millions because you're now touching 8.8 billion people.
yeah.
And so it's a whole different world. But anyway,
Right.
hey, we appreciate you all listening today. Don't forget to like, follow, and share. And don't forget to,
Ring that bell.
hey, thank you all for listening. And we hope you all have an awesome day.
Love ya.